Hi, I'm Dr. Emil Nardoni, founder and CEO of Northeast Integrated Functional Health and the architect of the Diabetic Reversal Program. If you are viewing this e-report, then there's a good chance you or someone you love is suffering from type 2 diabetes. Please watch and listen carefully. Your life depends on the information I'm about to share with you. Our mission is clear, and we are committed to treating patients in any location. We don't want you to suffer from the deadly effects of diabetes any longer, to remain a victim of the drug companies, and to lose your quality of life. We help our patients reverse chronic disease, restore their cellular function, and renew their life. Our care is not something you can wait for. We change and save lives every day. Many of our patients reduce and eliminate their need for medications across the board. Our patients lose weight without exercise, increase their energy levels. In other words, they are able to reverse their diabetes naturally. Our patients actually become non-diabetic. That's right, our patients actually become non-diabetic and get out of the cycle of deadly drugs. We look beyond the label of the disease and uncovering why a patient is a diabetic. We determine the underlying causes. We uncover nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, and organ dysfunctions that are associated with the disease.
One local physician has developed one of the first diabetes reversal programs in the nation, and it can get diabetes patients off of all of these medications.
Every morning, you have to go through the ritual, taking out every pill, 26 of them. Now I'm down to 3.
Dr. Emil Nardoni has been practicing here in Wheeling for 15 years, but for the last year and a half, he's been extremely successful in the functional practice of diabetes reversal. What's unique about his program is instead of addressing what happens to the patients due to type 2 diabetes, he works to fix the root of the problem.
Now I can start treating the cause of the diabetes, not the symptoms. And when we start to see causes, we see miraculous changes.
Each patient goes through a series of interviews to determine their physical issues and, most importantly, their motivation. Then they go through multiple tests to identify where the disease is and what exactly is going on. One of Nardoni's patients says that these tests were the key to what her problem was.
They found out that I was allergic to the insulin, which was making it worse. And my blood sugar went up, 400, 500.
Now Doris Altmeyer is only taking 3 medications instead of 26. She says she's got her life back. Nardoni believes that she is on her way to being completely medication-free, and she isn't the only success story from his practice.
I've never seen a patient fail, in one way or the other. I've seen just great results throughout care with all my patients.
I would recommend anybody to try this. It'll change your life. It changed mine.
Dr. Emil Nardoni is accepting patients from anywhere across the nation. Reporting in Wheeling, Katrina Malmstrom for 7 News, working for you.
22 million Americans suffer from diabetes. It's a deadly epidemic. Your life and millions of others are at stake. You are not alone. I am sure you constantly live in fear of your diabetes getting worse, losing your eyesight, limbs, kidney function, your family, your life. You should be worried, and it's time that you take action from this death sentence. I'm about to arm you with life-changing information, but the responsibility to act is upon you. You can reverse your type 2 diabetes regardless of what you have tried in the past. You can control and normalize your blood sugar without making the drug companies any richer than they already are. How do I know? Because I see it happen with my patients every day in my clinic. Imagine how life would be if you no longer needed the drugs. Imagine how life would be if you no longer had to inject yourself with insulin. Imagine if you had the energy to do the things that once made you truly happy. Imagine what life would be like if you could control your blood sugars without medication and insulin. Imagine what life would be like without living in constant fear of the devastating effects of this disease. Well, stop imagining. The information and new path forward you have been looking for is right here. Our healthcare system diagnoses the disease and then often prescribes treatment based on the diagnosis, without asking more critical questions. The net effect of that is often treatment with drugs that don't address the root issues for each individual. In other words, many diabetics are treated like just another member of the diabetic herd and not like individuals. Doctors have become so concerned about finding a cure that they often forget how to think about what could be going wrong with the body at a physiological and biochemical level, how to work to restore function instead of giving up and using drugs to bully the physiology of the body. It is as if they no longer permitted to think. Today's doctors must follow the standard of care. The term standard of care seems like a good term, but what does it mean? Well, the standard of care is if you are diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, then you get one or more multiple diabetic drugs. You are told to change your diet, lose weight, and exercise. By the way, your weight does not have much to do with diabetes. It is not the cause of it, and it is certainly not the cure for it. The standard of care means that if you went to another doctor with a diagnosis, they would recommend basically the same thing. This is generally the extent to which diabetics are counseled on day one, diagnosis day. Sadly, many diabetics report that is the extent to which they are counseled for the rest of their life. And so it goes that many diabetics are pushed into one drug after another that often promotes the very disease it attempts to treat. Many diabetics spend the rest of their life in this system, never knowing there is another way that is often safer and more effective. Without even meeting you, I am fairly certain I know what drugs you are taking. How do I know this? Because most type 2 diabetics get basically the same treatment, the same drugs. Now the drugs may be named differently, but that generally has the same mode of action. They are just marketed by a different drug company. This is what's meant by standard of care. So if you give a group of people who only have in common the label of a disease the same basic treatment plan, what do you expect the results to be? That is correct. You would expect to get the same basic results. And the pharmaceutical companies' record for diabetic results have shown to be unsatisfactory, in my opinion. Diagnosing diabetes is actually very easy to do. It certainly is not rocket science. The ultimate question, the question that I'm answering for my patients, is what has caused your type 2 diabetes? As a doctor, when you remember how to think, remember how the body works, you begin to ask far more critical questions than, is there one pill that can cure one disease? Why the eventual prescription of insulin therapy may prove to be your ultimate downfall. High levels of insulin floating around in your body is potentially dangerous to your health and ultimately to your life. It's not that your body is lacking the hormone insulin. The problem for a majority of type 2 diabetics is that they are resistant to insulin, which means that your body has lost the ability to utilize insulin properly. What sense does it make to give someone who is insulin resistant more insulin, especially when the substance insulin may be harmful to your health? Insulin at high levels may cause you to age prematurely, shortening your life expectancy, may cause you to gain weight at an alarming rate, may cause more insulin resistance, may cause your blood pressure to increase, may cause cardiovascular disease, may increase your risk to develop cancer and kidney disease. And that's just a short list. Insulin therapy often promotes the very disease it attempts to treat. When you give a person who is insulin resistant more insulin, you run the risk of promoting more insulin resistance. So the treatment can perpetuate the very disease it aims to treat. Patients experience this through the years by having to use more and more insulin to get the same effect. Good luck with that regime. Insulin is also a fat-storing hormone. It promotes weight gain. So here you are getting weight loss recommendations from your healthcare provider, and at the same time, you're being recommended a hormone that promotes weight gain. Insanity. Increased insulin in the body increases the risk for cardiovascular disease. The biggest and most deadly complication with diabetes is cardiovascular disease, so go figure. The goal is to control the blood sugars no matter what. And when other symptoms or problems arise, diabetics often just get another drug to deal with the new symptoms or problems. No wonder the pharmaceutical industry is a multi-trillion-dollar business. But how is their business model working for you? You deserve more. It's like the healthcare system has just given up on you and forgotten that you are a human being, not just an ATM machine it uses to stimulate the economy. With trillions of dollars spent on healthcare, mostly your money, every year, you deserve to have better options. You deserve to have better results. You deserve to be able to live a normal life, one that is free from drugs and the destruction that diabetes can create. You deserve the truth about type 2 diabetes. But before I get to the truth, let's take a minute to address a very delicate subject. Sure, there are a lot of people to blame for the disaster of diabetes in this country. You can surely lay blame on a lot of people about how your diabetes has been treated up to this point. The pharmaceutical companies, the medical schools, the food industries, the insurance companies, your genetics. Now, you may be thinking this sounds too good to be true, but it's not. Type 2 diabetes can absolutely be reversed. I know you have been hopeless and have seen the devastation diabetes can cause, that you are fearful, but you do not need to walk the diabetic death march. Your doctor or pharmaceutical company has probably told you the following diabetic myths, and I'll debunk them one by one. Number 1, type 2 diabetics is genetic. You can have the genetic potential to develop diabetes without question, but this genetic factor is just one factor among millions of others, including lifestyle choices, diet, exercise, stress, and more, which determines if you express this genetic factor. This is scientifically termed epigenetics. The saying, "Your mother had diabetes, so you have it," is nothing but a lie and a tactic for you to give up and become a victim of the medical and pharmaceutical industry. Number 2, type 2 diabetes is irreversible. Diabetes is a death sentence, and the only way to fix it is by giving you more and more expensive, dangerous drugs that actually skyrocket blood sugars and make the disease worse. Sound familiar? And eventually giving you insulin when you are insulin resistant to begin with. Number 3, prescription drugs are the cure-all for the diabetes. If that were the case, we would have found a cure by now. With all the money spent on diabetes research and drug therapy, you would think you would be completely healed of diabetes by now. One thing is for sure, we do not have a shortage of drugs in the U.S. One of the things that angers me, your doctor gives you a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, gives you a prescription, tells you to change your diet and exercise, and then is gone in a flash on to the next patient. You need a doctor who can bring it all together for you. One that will take the time and run all the necessary tests to figure out how you got this way in the first place. Number 4, all doctors know how to treat type 2 diabetes. Many diabetics go from one doctor to the next thinking at some point they will find the right doctor who will have the magic protocol. Sadly, the U.S. healthcare system is dominated by what has been called a drug therapy model. This drug therapy model has become the standard of care. Expecting a different approach from a prescribing doctor often only leads to disappointment. That's why I wrote this e-report, to help type 2 diabetes sufferers just like you. Before we go any further, let me stress to you that there is a place for medication. But more importantly, The cause of the problem must be identified because an incomplete diagnosis equals an incomplete treatment, and an incomplete treatment often leads to an incomplete human being. And if your medication fails you, you'll probably get even stronger medications where the side effects may be even more harmful to your health. Since many of the treatments your doctors may be giving you are not meant to actually correct the true cause of your problem, logic says your diabetes will only get worse. You'll continue to be given more and more drugs until one day your diabetes gets to a point where you need insulin, unless you are already at this dreaded stage. Number 5, the only organ in the body that is involved in sugar regulation is your pancreas. This is probably the most serious misconception. Sure, your pancreas is an important organ in the regulation of blood sugar, but there are other organs that need to be evaluated in order for proper therapy to be applied. The 4 main organs that play a role in regulation of blood sugar and therefore play a role in your diabetes are your liver, pancreas, adrenal glands, and thyroid. When was the last time your doctor evaluated these organs or ran the appropriate tests to find out if they're impacting your disease? Unfortunately, I often find that diabetics are actually victims of the standard of care. Number 6, diabetics should eat one way. Let me let you in on a little secret. There's no one diabetic diet. It does not exist. Yet many diabetics are instructed to follow the same basic and general eating guidelines as the next diabetic. This is nutritional insanity. Diabetics are often told not to eat so much, reduce their calories, told not to eat late at night, instructed to reduce their fat intake, limit red meat, and eat whole grains. Well, let me ask you, how is this advice working out for diabetics so far? A diabetic's diet must be customized based upon their individual needs. If you follow the advice of a diabetic herd is being given, don't be surprised when you get the same results the diabetic herds get. Is your doctor doing everything possible for your condition, leaving no stone unturned? If you answer no to any of the following questions, your doctor may unknowingly be a roadblock to you reclaiming your health and living a life that you deserve. Don't get me wrong, your doctor is likely not intentionally holding back information. It's more likely that he or she does not have the information that I have. Number 1, does your doctor spend enough time with you to answer all your questions and concerns? Or does your doctor run late and then rush you through your visit? Shoot, do you even see a doctor these days? Number 2, has your doctor provided you with a written, individualized treatment plan with clear goals, objectives, and benchmarks that can be measured? Or does your doctor just scribble on a prescription pad each time you have a problem? Number 3, has your doctor given you specific and individualized dietary guidelines to follow? Or has your doctor given you the same diet pamphlet that all diabetics get? Number 4, has your doctor given you a specific exercise program that ensures that you are burning fat instead of sugars? Or has your doctor just told you to exercise and lose weight? Number 5, has your doctor run every blood test that is important to your health? Or does your doctor just run what the insurance companies and the standard of care allow? Number 6, has your doctor ever ordered an adrenal stress index for you? Number 7, has your doctor ever done a comprehensive digestive stool analysis on you? Or does your doctor tell you that everything looks fine when you know it's not? Number 8, has your doctor ever ordered a complete thyroid panel for you? Or does your doctor just run one marker, TSH, if that? Number 9, if you are a male, have you ever been evaluated for andropause? Or does your doctor tell you it's normal to have low sex drive and erectile dysfunction at your age? Number 10, if you are a female, has your doctor ever ordered an expanded female hormone panel? Or does your doctor just prescribe hormones to mask your female problems? If you answer no to any or all the questions, there's a good chance that your diabetes is not being managed properly. You deserve better. So what's the secret? If you haven't figured it out already, here it is. There is no one diabetic secret. The medical establishment and the pharmaceutical companies would love you to think that all diabetics should be treated the same. They would love you to think that all you have to do is take their drugs for the rest of your natural life. The most important question is, why are you a diabetic? And guess what? When you run all of the necessary tests to determine why a person can no longer regulate their blood sugar, you find that each person has a different mechanism for their diabetes. So if each person has a different mechanism for their diabetes, what then does that dictate about what the treatment plan needs to be? I know it's not brain surgery. The treatment plan has to be different. You need a treatment plan that is customized for you as an individual. A treatment plan that addresses the reasons you can no longer regulate your blood sugars. Not a treatment plan that Big Pharma wants you to have so the fat cats on Wall Street can continue to line their pockets with cash. The point is this: you are not a diagnosis. Yet the medical establishment often designs treatments based upon a diagnosis. Your treatment needs to be based on your individuality. In addition, you need a doctor who cares about you and how this disease is negatively impacting your life. A doctor who will spend the time to listen to all your concerns and really be thorough. A doctor who will put it all together for you and take all the guesswork out of doing your part. A doctor that does not just push drugs on you, one that spends countless hours researching the latest and greatest in the treatments of type 2 diabetes, not just taking treatment advice from pharmaceutical sales reps. You need a doctor who is not giving up on you, a doctor that won't give up until you become free from a life of misery and dysfunction. You deserve it. I don't care if you've been to hundreds of other doctors or you think you have tried everything under the sun to no avail. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is your desire to live a healthy life, a quality life, free of constant monitoring of your blood sugars, constantly having to monitor your diet, always being dependent on medications. All you need is a burning desire to be healthy again. Let me be your guide. I know what diabetics go through. I have helped diabetics reverse their disease, and no one can tell me that you are doomed. I know better. I have personally seen many diabetics missing critical information about their condition that changes their overall ability to reverse their condition. I make sure appointments are scheduled to give each and every one of the individual attentions they need to get the best possible results. I refuse to be one of the doctors who spend only 3 to 5 minutes with each patient. Quite frankly, that common practice makes my blood boil. So please, if you are at all interested in seeing if you qualify to be a patient of mine, and see if this is finally the one thing you've been waiting for, the one thing you've been dreaming about, do it now. Don't put yourself on the wrong end of your to-do list. How would you like to find out if you qualify for this amazing type 2 diabetic reversal program? Absolutely free, no gimmicks. Here's the qualification process. A consultation with me, Dr. Emil Nardoni, to discuss your problems and answer all your questions. I will thoroughly explain the program as well as my clinical model. A complete type 2 diabetes qualification case history and questionnaire to help determine if I can help you. A complete type 2 diabetes dietary and nutritional evaluation. Here I'll spend the time to analyze your dietary habits to determine whether or not you need to make any adjustments. In addition, I will personally evaluate all your nutritional supplements, herbs, minerals, botanicals, homeopathics, etc. to determine whether or not they are right for you. Bring all your medical records. I will go over them with a fine-tooth comb to make sure nothing has been missed. I can't tell you how many times I have found something that has been overlooked that could completely change your prognosis. Total value is $997, all completely free. If you call 412-342-8433 and schedule your type 2 diabetes qualification within the next 5 days. Now, give me a minute to speak off the record. You've listened to this information. You must be seriously interested in what I've said and what my type 2 diabetic reversal program can do for you. Finally, finding a completely risk-free way to see if everything possible is being done for your disease. Making sure that no stone is left unturned must be exactly what you've spent so many sleepless nights dreaming and praying about. Nevertheless, many diabetics never take the next step. Many diabetics never make the call and reach out for help. They back down when the potential answer to their prayers may be just a painless phone call away. The information you have in your hand right now and the information I have waiting for you at my clinic is utterly useless without your action. Why do so many people give up without at least giving themselves a chance? I think many, maybe even you, have been taken advantage of, played for a sucker more than once, given up hope. Your fears preyed upon by the pharmaceutical ads and doctors who have not listened to you. By this time, you are little more than gun shy. I understand, and I can't blame you. This is why I'm giving you my time for free. I feel it is my obligation to consult with you so you can really understand how you could be finally helped. Many diabetics only have a sliver of hope left. They're really close to throwing in the towel and giving up. Don't give up. If you can muster just enough hope to meet with me, you will see that reversing your diabetes, getting off medication, and beginning to feel better is a real possibility. You will not be taken for a fool or dismissed. Now the only question left is, will you try?